speaker or expert on that, all those things. So it's really a kind of nice experience on the staff engagement as well. And last thing is about guest engagement. We were like working in our shell or a kind of rural area itself. So we were not really aware about all other people in the ecosystem who are already working on things like content management or content delivery or content development, and also like all other things apart from capacity building, how we can get in or engaged with our stakeholders and all those things. So it's really a nice experience to get in touch with such highly experienced guests and so on, because we invite guests starting from like people who have got awards from uh, honorable president of India in educational space, and also like other guests who have got state level or national level recognition for their contribution into the educational sector or social sector as well. So that is another kind of great experience for all of us to get in touch with ECHO, and we are planning things based on ECHO's platform and all those things. So that is another thing for all of us. And we really thank ECHO team, because it is their effort. As I said, like we started from no to on. At the stage of our postponing things and little hesitancy at the start, ECHO team helped us and pushed us to go for it and start sessions or plan sessions accordingly, and like they are helping us in planning each and every session, also some technical nitty-gritties and all those things as well. So it's really a kind of fruitful experience, and uh, I'm really thankful to all of you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dada, for that beautiful presentation. Of course, it wouldn't have been possible without the efforts of Team Ramoja. So thank you for that. We will now move on to the next presentation by Pooja ma'am, Miss Pooja Bhagwat. She's an English teacher for standard 5 and 6 in one of the Muktangan run MCGM schools. She has been teaching for the past 9 years, and we welcome her to share her experiences from the ECHO she's a part of. Over to you, Pooja ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, all of you. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, so good evening, everyone. Sorry, good morning, everyone. I'm Pooja Bhagwat, an English teacher for Standard 5 and 6 in one of the Muktangan run MCGM schools. So I'm one of the spoke participant of Eco Muktangan project on student engagement. So we started in 19 January 2021. So I hope, so means I have attended their 7 sessions, and I'm grateful to all the eco sports and eco experts, even the spoke members also, for offering me such a great opportunity to learn something new. So what is student engagement, and how to observe student engagement in emotional, behavior or cognitive aspects in each lesson? So especially now, due to the pandemic, student engagement in an online session has become very challenging for teachers, as we don't know whether student is engaged or not. Hence, in each didactic session, I get ideas on engaging students. But after the didactic each session, so every eco-spoke share a case study from the classroom, and I also had the opportunity to share a case study that I was facing of a grade 6 child, and he was inattentive for the online classes and irregular sending the homework also. So all of the teachers were extremely worried about his progress. I called for the feedback sessions, and I got to know that he was using his father's mobile for the online classes. But then I got inquired about him. So I, from father only told me about instead of online classes, he was using his mobile to play PUBG. So for that only, all teacher very worried about for that. And even we all are upset for this. And his father only, like his father only tell him like that only, whatever you are doing. So his father made the child understand the importance of a study and promised the teacher that he would be attentive for the online classes. Days passed, but there was no improvement in that child. And when I presented my case study, I shared some of the strategy that I had used for with him. And they were very means like not effective for them only. I got lots of recommendations from the other spoken eco experts. I immediately implemented one by one, and I got few positive results. Firstly, I spoke to him one to one on a basis as a recommended. Then I approached his best friends, those who live nearby his house. Lastly, I inquired about his family background. When the day came, then I met his father personally, and I got to know, then I understood his problem. I made him again personally as per the recommendations. And I compared to attendance graph and showed him. Then he promised me. Then I explained him the importance of a study for his better future. And when he promised me he will be attend all the online classes and he follow the all school rules. And now he has started to sending homework also and attending online classes. So this means every teacher is surprised about for that only. Now even he is calling the teacher also. He's clarifying his doubt also. And these things is happen. And so for the means like due to the support of the provided in the eco session, and they understand my student and me also. So thanks to all eco members and eco expert. So I have now understood the means like how the 100% engaging student in my class. And now in the current situations, in the current session, I'm learning about how to give effective feedback of the students only and to engage all the students. So for that only, I look forward to the fortnightly sessions of 1 hour, which help me in my teaching. And I hear other cases and I get ideas and strategy to deal with my students. So I feel confident to share my experiences and recommendation to help other eco spokes too. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing that experience with us. And we are so happy that you had an impact. The child could be, focusing more on studies, even if it's through the online sessions. Uh, Thank you for sharing your experience. We will be back with you in the Q&A. Please stay with us. We now move on to the last presentation by Shilpi ma'am. Ms. Shilpi Sood, she is presently working as principal of the Sri Ram Universal School, Ludhiana. She was one of the pioneers at Delhi Public School, Ludhiana, where she started her journey from. She has transitioned from being a class teacher to subject coordinator to activity in charge to headmistress and now principal. So we look forward to hearing from you, ma'am, how your experience has been as a spoke in one of the echoes. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. As Ramesh sir shared in his presentation that external and internal well-being go hand in hand, and probably they're interdependent in a big way. So one way in which I have been able to deal with the pandemic has been by learning constantly, and echo sessions have certainly been one of the most effective, authentic, and very genuine space where I could get many learning opportunities. In fact, my learning with ECHO started before the pandemic. This was December 2019, when Dr. Atul Nishchal director ICSL introduced me to Echo Sessions and gave me a little download about what Echo was all about. And this is how I became one of the spokes with Echo. And Echo actually prepared me for an unseen future. Nobody knew at that point of time that the pandemic was going to be around, but this whole platform was online, and the kind of effectiveness it had actually developed a deep faith, a deep belief in me that online learning could be very, very effective if approached in the right manner. So when the pandemic hit and the schools were closed all of a sudden, I could help my team. The entire school system, could be moved virtually because I had already experienced Echo and the way it delivered effectively in an online mode. So that really helped me, and of course I would always remain indebted to Dr. Atul for introducing me to Echo, and of course to Echo also because my learning didn't stop there. A lot followed. In fact, Echo sessions, they are twice a month, and each session is 60-minute long. And believe you me, I don't think you are on a learning spree. The speed is so quick and it's lightning fast, and everything is so well organized and well timed that those 60 minutes there is nothing but pure learning that you are engaged in. And when it talks about, you see, a general session is divided into two parts. There's a didactic which is shared, and there's also a case study. Now, of course, it's the hub team, and as far as our Echo group is concerned, so there were members from the Oklahoma University, Dr. Edward Harris, Dr. John Trey Oslin, and Dr. Ashleen, and of course, Mrs. Anuradha Rai, principal, Gurgaon, Indian School Gurgaon, and Dr. Atul Nischal as well. So, a host of didactics, the presentations which were shown to us, they were mind-boggling in a big way, and they were not theory. They were all research-based. They were that was learning, that was practically applicable in real time. It wasn't something that you learned on in a book or read in a. I could take it back to school. So, and the topics, the themes which were chosen for didactics were very context true as well. So, say if the online, if we went online, so how could we make online schools effective? How could we conduct assessments while the whole country was struggling with the question of assessment? So here I was attending an Echo session, a didactic being presented there, learning about the depth of knowledge levels, and how we could implement all of that and actually take it back to real time to my team. And case presentations, again, very, very practical, while people, shared the challenges that they faced, or probably, even their success stories. So I could, also reflect upon what I was doing right or wrong as a school leader in the space that I was. What were some of the things that I could probably give a pat on my back for, and what were the gray areas? While I listened to the experience of other members in the team, the experts in the sessions, so that, and everybody from different parts of the globe. So we were not a group, which was confined to a specific geography. Echo actually helped me reach out to people, to educators from different parts of the globe and benefit from their experience. And of course, you see, when you listen to others, so you also learn about which mistakes are not to be made. And most importantly, that there's no one solution to a specific problem, because as the context changes, that solution may become invalid. Absolutely, it may go null and void. And I think that's my biggest learning takeaway from Echo. And the best part about Echo sessions is that they are thoroughly democratic in approach. I mean, all of us attend so many learning sessions, but I have not come across a space where I could be at so much ease, to express myself or to ask a question, to, request somebody to resolve a query. It has, I've never been so comfortable. So Echo, is a space where you learn. In fact, they walk the talk. If as teachers we say that we ought to be non-intimidating to the children in the classroom. So it's very important, that we also create learning spaces for each other where we mutually learn, mutually benefit all the time, and do not intimidate each other by virtue of our experience or our learning or our expertise, and actually develop a culture of openness. So I miss echo sessions, to be very, very frank, and I want them to resume because of the second wave, they were called off for a while. I hope and pray that they resume at the earliest. So I want to put in that request here at this platform too, and that kindly resume them as quickly as possible. I really look forward to them, every fortnight. Thank you very much for adding that value to me and to the school team that I lead. And I think not only the school team or to me in person, to a lot of colleagues, even at home, because when you actually see it in real time. So with teenagers who are growing up, I tell them that there are spaces which are democratic in nature and have a culture of openness, and it's real, because a lot of time people say that it's all bookish, that a culture like that cannot be created. So if echo sessions taught us about creating a culture like that at school, they actually walk the talk as well. Thank you very much to the entire hub team and to echo for bringing this learning opportunity my way. Thank you very much. God bless, and please keep up the good work. I'm so amazed to see so many wonderful presentations. People, again, a lot of exposure happening today at this session too. People actually doing very, very genuine and honest work in their space, and that's generating a lot of positivity. Thank you very much. God bless everybody.
Thank you, ma'am, for that very, very positive insights on your experience, how it helped you as a school leader and as a human to change and bring about the positive impact on ground. So thank you very much to all the four speakers. We are now open to questions. Any questions that anyone would like to ask the hub team leads or the spoke members, please feel free to unmute and ask the question. I think we have a question from Shumana. Shumana, would you like to unmute and ask the question?
Yeah, I would. Good morning, everyone. Just wanted some, it's beautiful to see that so many people have found the echo session so useful. Just wanted someone to throw light on, if we have the evaluation part, the before echo and the after echo, do we have some data, some pictographs to show us how things changed? That would be very useful and very motivating.
I can take that.
Sure, please, Ramesh.
So Sumana, there are two types of feedback we try to take. One is for the whole program, we have a set of questions depending on what the program is. We have a quality of life questionnaire, for instance, when it comes to the Yogakshema program. We are currently in the process of running a math program where we have a different set of questions. So we have a pre-question, and then at the end of the program, you take a post-test to try and see the efficacy of the program and whether there has been a palpable positive shift in the values of responses which have come from people. Second, for us to be able to improve each of the sessions, are we spending too much time? Are we getting too much into depth? Are we going too fast? All those kinds of things, and is it relevant? Those questions are really being asked at the end of every session. At the end of every echo session, there is a 1 to 2 minute which people have to take, the spoke members have to take to fill up a small question, a small feedback form really. And using that feedback form, those feedbacks are compiled quite well by the backend, and it will be shown to us as hub members pictorially as to how we are doing, whether people agree with what we've done, have they learned anything new, and so on and so forth. And that gives us a valuable feedback in terms of calibrating our sessions in terms of a space, content, depth, everything for the next session. That's how it happens, Sumana.
Thanks, Ramesh. I just want one more clarification. So is the feedback always qualitative, or do we also have some quantitative data to show that there's been a positive shift?
It is only quantitative right now. It is usually on a scale of strongly disagree to strongly agree kind of a scale. There is also a qualitative part of the feedback, which, given that people have attended 90 minutes of a session and they have a feedback to fill up, they will fill up the quantitative part, and then the qualitative part people might or might not fill up. So the qualitative part is the one which is lesser, and most of the quantitative part gets filled up, and that gets presented back to us as hub team pictorially, so that, like I said, it helps us in terms of calibrating our next session.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
I just want to add one thing here. Also, I think the session, whatever session you do, say, especially when you're working with teachers, Sumanna, then when they present some kind of a success story, like they, whatever strategies were taught when they implement, and then sometimes they share that. So in either in form of video or in form of, a presentation, even that kind of is a evidence. Of course, it is not quantitative, but then it is. Yeah.
Agreed, ma'am. Yeah.
And here, I think what we are trying to do is, it's not about, again, measuring in that respect. It's about mindset. So if we are able to make that shift, people will be able, will feel empowered. The whole idea is to, have people feel, improve their self-efficacy and, have that growth mindset. So I think
agree with you there. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question, Shomana, and the response provided by you, Ramesh and Mrs. Rai. Any further questions that you want to ask our hub team leads and support members? Or if the speakers want to share further from the presentation that they've done. Ramesh, maybe I was thinking that you might want to share your experience from the Math Echo, the one which got launched very recently.
Okay.
Hear about that.
Yeah, I was going to talk about it, but I wasn't sure whether I should take up 70% market share or not in talking, which I'm quite used to, but nevertheless, yeah, I'll go ahead with that. So recently, about 3 weeks back, we have launched another program with two of my colleagues, Bhama and Sendil. Both of them are, by the way, as a part of this immersion, they are here very much. Those are my colleagues, and the three of us, Bhama, Sendil, and myself, we've launched a program which is called Reimagine Math. Simply put, it's like this. I always use this example. Aditi will be hearing it for the 7th time. So the example I take is, you look at all these people, sugarcane juice vendors on the roadside. What they take is, they take a sugarcane and put it through the machine, and then they get the juice out, and then they fold it, put it back, and they fold it and put it back, and you get some juice and you get the husk. And many times in math education, what we do is we throw out the juice and then feed the husk to the children. And then when they start choking, we tell them, you don't have discipline. Math is a difficult subject. This is what I told you. You should not be taking math. But the fact of the matter is that we have thrown out the juice. So the whole idea here is, can we have a reconstituted math program where we bring back some of the juice? And what is the juice? How do we keep it non-procedural, but keep it more conceptual? Can we introduce problem solving into it? Can we keep the evaluation not as a right and wrong, but more in terms of our improvements and how we can look at it? How do we change the mindset? How do we bring energy into a class? How do we even interpret various subtopics within the field of mathematics, whether it is arithmetic, trigonometry, ratio, proportions? And we talk about really amazingly beautiful concepts in math. I mean, we recently talked about Pascal's triangle, we talked about fractals, we talked about even how do we even look at measurement very, very differently from how we have always talked about it. So long story short, we don't want our children to keep doing what is 723 multiplied by 272. That is not really math, and this can do it a lot better than any one of us. But there are plenty of things in mathematics which cannot be done by a calculator, which can be done only if we get our conceptual grounding, when we get our problem solving grounding. And that is what we are trying to introduce. It's a short 12 session program. We don't know we'll be able to complete everything in 12 sessions. We might go on to 24 sessions. We have no idea about that yet. But that is the whole idea. Can we reconstitute some of the beautiful sugar juice we've been throwing out all the time back into the husk? Some amount of procedural, some amount of routine work is required in math. Some amount of practice is required, but it's really a more beautiful subject. How do we make connections? And that is what we talk about in terms of Reimagine Math. So we don't really stick to the exact syllabus in terms of what is being covered in 7th grade or 8th or 9th or 10th grade, but we really come to saying, can we look at math at a slightly higher level, and how do we impart that education so that students really find it fun? And in the process, we also hope to break a lot of stereotypes that if you do math, you're smart. Completely wrong. Boys are better at math than girls. Completely wrong. All of this has been proven. There is enough and more scientific evidence to prove that there is no palpable difference between the quality of math which is being done by a boy or a girl. There is no difference. It's all about how do we give the message. If you tell somebody something is tough, they are likely to withdraw because children don't want to take risk beyond a point. And if you keep an environment of low trust environment where we are constantly evaluating and judging children, they are likely to withdraw from that particular subject. And the problem is not with the subject. The problem is not with the children. I'm not saying that the problem is with the teachers, but the problem is the way we are teaching. So we really need to look at what are the different ways we can teach that particular subject and how do we reimagine the subject. That's really what we do.
Awesome. That was great. I mean, Ramesh, I know I have heard about the program so many times, but still it feels good to be, knowing that somebody is doing so much for the subject, because we all grew with the fear of math. So that's great. I mean, the kind of experience that teachers are having, I'm sure they're learning a lot, and including us, because we also get to participate in the session. All right. So would anyone else like to share anything further or ask any question? Anybody?
I just want to compliment Ramesh. I'm one of his biggest fans, and it's my dream that I want to clone him. I want to have at least 1,000 Ramesh in India, so that we can have so many maths programs every day, 2-3 maths programs going on with 100, 200 teachers logging in.
Inshallah.
Great, thank you so much. In fact, we have the hub team members from so many current hubs, including that of Think and Yuvakshema. We have hub team members from Gramoja also. Mr. Ashok is there as the participant today, but they're already running an echo. So would you like to come in, Mr. Ashok, and share your experience as a hub team? You are a coordinator with Gramoja.
हेलो
Yes, please go ahead.
हेलो
We can hear you.
मैं ग्राम ऊर्जा के साथ जब से इको का प्रोग्राम स्टार्ट हुआ है तब से काम कर रहा हूँ। तो मेरा एक एक्सपीरियंस ये है कि जब हम जो हमारे वॉलंटियर है, हम एक 30 विलेज में हमारा एजुकेशन का प्रोग्राम शुरू था। तो जब हम शुरू में उनके साथ काम करते थे तो हमें बहुत डिफिकल्टी आती थी। मतलब जो हमारे वॉलंटियर थे वो उतने एक्सपर्ट नहीं थे, और उनको गांव में बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम बच्चों को सिखाने के टाइम आते थे, लेकिन वो किसी के साथ शेयर नहीं करते थे, और उनको पता नहीं चलता था कि अगर एजुकेशन में हम बच्चों को पढ़ाते हैं तो ये प्रॉब्लम हम कैसे टैकल करेंगे और इसको कैसे डील करेंगे, क्योंकि वो उतने एक्सपर्ट नहीं थे। लेकिन इको का जो हमारा हर वीक में एक सेशन होता है, तो उसमें हमें पता चला कि हम जब वॉलंटियर से बात करते थे उनको क्या-क्या प्रॉब्लम फेस करते हैं, क्या-क्या प्रॉब्लम है उनको सिखाने के टाइम आती है। तो उसी के ऊपर हमने अलग-अलग सेशन ऑर्गेनाइज किए, उसमें अच्छे एक्सपर्ट भी हमें मिले, और उसमें अच्छा इम्पैक्ट हुआ है कि जो हमारे वॉलंटियर हैं, वो हर एक सेशन के दिन या अलग अलग केस उनके क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम है वो शेयर करते हैं। तो अभी जो हमारे वॉलंटियर है वो बहुत हैप्पी है कि उनको जो बच्चों के प्रॉब्लम है वो अभी सॉल्व कर रहे हैं। तो एक जो हमारा एक इसका जो एक्सपीरियंस है वो बहुत अच्छा है, और वो अभी आगे भी हमें काम करने के लिए उनके साथ डिफिकल्टी नहीं आ रही। तो इको के वजह से वो बहुत अच्छा एक हमारा वॉलंटियर के साथ एक रिलेशन भी बन गया है।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद अशोक, हमारे साथ इतनी सारी अच्छी बातें साझा करने के लिए। And we hope that all the other hub team members, and in fact not only the ones who are running the program currently, but the ones who are about to start in the next 1 month or so, we hope that all your doubts, all your questions that you had in mind are being addressed. Because when it comes to actually launching an echo, the real experience comes very handy. So maybe if you have any further questions, we will be there. I mean, throughout the immersion and even after the immersion, we will be in touch with you, each one of you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And for now as well, if you have any questions to ask, anyone wants to share anything, please feel free to unmute. I think we are going to have great echoes in future. Everyone is so confident and have understood the concept so well. So I'm really hopeful and looking forward to all your echoes, being a part of it and learning from it. But I think we should use this time that we have a few more minutes in case we have any questions or any doubts. Raju sir, you had a few questions about the presentation that you were discussing with me the other day. Would you like to ask
regarding
regarding the presentation and the timings, etc.? Because you are also planning to launch. We are planning to launch your echo very soon. So if you have any questions.
As of it's okay. All are presenting their experiences, and we are listening, ma'am. Any questions, any query, definitely I'll contact with you again. Thank you, ma'am.
Great, thank you so much. And I hope all the team members from Assam are finding this experience useful.
I just want to say, the power of one. So if you see whether it was me, whether it was Ramesh, whether it was the team from Gramurja, anybody, it is the power. So you have to believe. So if you believe, you want to do it, all the, whatever forces will come and help you. So it's like that. You just decide. So I'm hoping more of you would, want to do this. So for example, Shilpi, I think, this is my, again, honest wish that you start your own hub. So each school leader, thinks that I can make that difference. So you see what happened, Ramesh, this is his passion. So he was doing something else, but this was his passion. And he also goes and teaches children in government schools and many others. So because he enjoys and he wants to share what he has, a rare quality, the way he can kind of energize and, that same passion that he has, he can, share it with his children, with his teachers. So each one of us, if we decide, that, okay, we are going to do this, make this difference, I'm sure, we will be able to make a big impact in our country. So, just don't hesitate. Don't feel that, okay, this is too much and how will I do this? You just determine. Once you determine that I will do it, things will just fall into place. So I remember it was not so long ago when Ramesh and I discussed this, and he started with Yogakshma, and now he's got not one but two math programs running and running so beautifully. I love, I've not been able to attend all of it, but whenever I'm in a session, I'm like a little child, just absorbing everything that he's saying. And I want to go back to class and be his student and Bhama's student and Senthil's student. And they are all, so at some point I'm thinking that honestly, I didn't say it. I actually have this, desire or wish that we have multiple echo sessions running, whether it is subject wise or, for school leaders every day, so that we can reach out to more and more people. But you see, unless we clone Ramesh, he can only do that much, so we become the limiting. So we want more people to come forward and, do this.
Anuradha ma'am, you can certainly count me in, ma'am, but of course I would need a lot of hand holding and to understand, how it goes. And Ramesh sir, ma'am has spoken so much about your programs. How can I attend one is all I want to know. I mean, I'm not going to leave before I actually learn about that. Please share.
Oh, sure. We will send you the link, Shilpi. We will send you the link. Aditi will be able to give you the link, or Tanishka will be able to give you the link. You can attend. There is one this evening at 5 o'clock. If you're interested, one of the concepts we are talking about, Pascal's triangle, and we're going to be talking about fractions. We are also talking about something very important in pedagogy in terms of divergent and convergent thinking. So if you're interested from 5 to 6, if you can take that time out, please do attend today. Yeah, we are there.
Thank you, sir. So I will get connected with Aditi on this. Thank you. Look forward.
Yes, Aditi, please count me in. This is Sumana. I would also like to self-invite myself to Ramesh's session.
Jump in.
I think all maths teachers and school leaders should join his program. I'm telling you. Ramesh, you'll have to have another cohort. I don't care if you have 100 participants. Please take them in.
Yeah. Sure. No, all of you jump in. We need lots and lots of teachers to contribute their time, and individuals to contribute their time as well. I mean, you don't even have to be a teacher. And there are plenty of ways in which we can impact the lives of children. And the best way to do it is to spread the word with the teachers, and who in turn will be able to spread it to their children.
Very well said, Ramesh. And Shilpi ma'am, we really look forward to having you in the session today. And also, I'll share the link with you, Shumana. So the session is at, I think, 5. Yeah. Great. Okay. So do we have any further questions? Okay. Nagamani sir is asking for the link in chat. Sir, we will share with you the link offline outside of this session. And we look forward to having you. Okay, so if there are no further questions, are we good to conclude? Or any lasting thoughts, anything you want to share further? We have a few more minutes.
I think it's okay, Aditi, you can carry on to the next session, and if we have questions, we can still take it after that. That's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, I'd like to thank all the speakers, Ramesh, ma'am, Pooja ma'am, and Dada Sahib for joining us for this very and descriptive session. We look forward to being a part of one of your echoes, or having you in one of the echoes, which we plan to start soon. And we will be back to you with any questions that we receive from any of the participants. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. All right.
Super. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Good day.
Good day, ma'am. Thank you. All right. So we now move on to the next session of the day, which is replication by Dr. Karan Rai. Dr. Karan is the lead for international initiatives and replications at ECHO India. Would request Dr. Karan to please start the presentation.
Yeah, thanks, Aditi. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me clearly. If I have internet issues, I can switch my internet.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'm Karan. I head the replication team at ECHO India. So During the session, we're going to be talking about the process of replication. So that simply means, all the steps that you need to follow as you get ready to launch your Echo program. So what I'm sharing on the screen is the standard Echo Hub launch checklist. So this is what we recommend to all of our partners in terms of best practices. So just a quick background in terms of how we've developed this checklist. So about 2 or 3 years ago, our the way that we provided support was not as structured, but what we realized over a period of time was there were quite a few gaps in terms of understanding of the partners and what they were supposed to follow. So that's why we sort of codified what we already knew in terms of best practices, and we also listed out other steps and other things that could be done to. So basically, the idea behind this checklist is you shouldn't look at it from sort of a compliance perspective. The idea is just to make sure that you complete everything necessary, which will give you the best possible chance of running a high quality echo session. So that's really what it's about. And we've seen like over a period of time. So once we started implementing this checklist and our processes, we did see a statistically significant difference in how the partners were performing and maintaining fidelity to the model. So I mean, just look at it from the lens of this will really give you a chance of running a the best quality echo session that you can. So in terms of how you should be approaching this checklist, so I think most of the organizations here should have already signed partnership documents, and in case you haven't, the team will be following up after the immersion because that is a critical prerequisite. And the other important step is, of course, attending immersion, which you're doing right now. So we've divided this checklist into 4 phases. So that's the concept phase, implementation phase, and then the pre-launch phase, and finally the launch phase. Just anyone who's not speaking, if you could put yourself on mute, please. So in the concept phase, so that's where we're currently at. I mean, so after immersion, that's the first thing that you'll really do. So the first thing I'd like to mention is that there'll be a dedicated relationship manager who will be assigned to you. So you've already been interacting with members from our education team. So Aditi and her team, somebody will be assigned to support you throughout this process. So post the immersion training, they'll be getting in touch with you regarding the next steps. So the first thing would be to have a planning Zoom call with the Echo team. So this will be with the program team and also our quality assurance team. So the idea is just to go over to discuss in more detail about the program that you want to run, and then we'll also discuss some other important steps like we'll talk about our concept note template and how you can work on that. So that's really the first step in terms of deciding how you can proceed with the rest of the process. So there's a form that you need to fill out. So during the immersion, we'll talk about the Project Echo Resource Library. So that's essentially a living library that's contributed to by Echo partners around the world. So not just the Echo Institute, hubs around the world are contributing the material. There'll be a lot of hubs working in the education space as well. So the idea is we don't want people to reinvent the wheel. You can see what other hubs have done in the same space. So you'll find didactics and case presentation material, case presentation templates, and you can just download that and use it freely. You can adapt it or use that for your own ideation and development. The next critical step is the preparation of a concept note. So I'm just going to stop my screen share and share another document. So we have the standard template for a concept note, and the reason why this is important is it helps you structure your program better. So you'll make sure that you're not missing anything out in terms of the overall planning. It also allows the Echo India team to get all the necessary information that we need in order to be able to support you better. So it's a fixed template and it's a protected form. So you can just fill in the relevant information like the name of your project, where you're operating, the name of the organization, and your program. So you would typically have a concept note for each program. And you can also mention dates which are useful for version control. And this concept note can be shared once it's filled out. You can share it with our quality assurance team. So as I mentioned before, it's a fixed template. So you only need to worry about the text in gray. That's where you can enter your information. So we have a background about echo and the echo model, but in the first section, so you can talk about giving a brief about your organization, the values, the objectives, and also the expertise that's available to you. And if there's any other important stakeholders for the project, you can talk about that as well. So we're not looking at anything too extensive. We don't expect a detailed proposal. You can limit it to, there's also word counts which have been indicated just to, give you a guideline in terms of, what you can really enter. The second section is about the executive summary. So you can talk about the purpose of your program, the goals and objectives, what you want to achieve, the rationale for running the program. And again, so there's a word count over here just as an indication. The third thing is the focus area. So I think everyone here is working in the education space, but we Echo India of course works in different domains. So depending on the area that you're working on, healthcare, education, systems change, or if you want to drill down and make it a more narrow focus and talk about that, you can talk about the focus area about a program, so the kind of program that you want to run. The next thing is the format of the program. So in terms of the duration and the frequency and also the schedule. You can give an overview, and also you can give a timeline on how you're planning to implement it. So for a duration, so what we typically recommend is an hour or an hour and a half is usually what's most common. And the number of sessions that you want to run. So ideally, you would want to have a longer term program so that knowledge, the capacity building happens over a period of time. How often you want to have them? So you can hold the sessions monthly or fortnightly, that's twice a month, or even weekly. What we recommend is, so fortnightly is good, but or even weekly. If you do it monthly, that's also okay, but you shouldn't do it less than that. So it shouldn't be once in 2 months, or an irregular schedule. So there's a number of reasons for that, because typically people tend to forget what's happened earlier, and it's also easier for people to remember if there's a fixed schedule. So probably the sweet spot is to have a session every 2 weeks or every week. And the next thing is the hub team. So I think this would have been covered during the immersion, but so the key roles in the hub team are the echo lead, the facilitator, coordinator, and IT support. Obviously, the hub experts. So if you can just list out, the names and contact details of all the team members, so that everything is in one place. In case we need to get in touch with you, it'll sort of it'll facilitate that as well. The next thing is regarding the spokes. So who the learners are. So for example, it could be English teachers from a particular school or from multiple schools. So like, what is the demographic? Who are you really targeting? Is it a fixed cohort, or is it is it an open group? So having a fixed cohort is it's useful from an overall program perspective, and it's also very useful in case you're thinking of doing any kind of evaluation. You can also talk about the geographic location, so where your spokes are located, where the learners are located, and things like that. The next point is about the curriculum. So you can talk about, so I mean, this is not to be confused with the detailed curriculum. It's really thinking about the topics that you're going to be covering during your program. And, ideally you would make a list of it date-wise, and, what kind of topic you're planning to cover. So it's also useful from a planning perspective in case you need any outside expertise, any guest lecturers, you can use that for planning. It'll help with communication with the participants and all of that. And also what's important is, so we've talked about the four principles of the echo model. So thinking about how you can make the sessions interactive and you can incorporate case-based learning into the curriculum and into your sessions. In terms of the evaluation plan, really thinking through, how you want to, if and how you want to conduct an evaluation. It doesn't need to be anything too extensive, but it's always good to have. So if you have some kind of basic evaluation, it'll be a more objective measure in terms of how your program has done and what kind of results you're getting out of that. So rather than just general feedback from your participants about how the program is done. So it doesn't need to be too extensive, but what we recommend is generally it's good if you can do a basic pre and post test. So it could be self-efficacy, it could also be knowledge. So there's different levels of it. And if you'd like to talk about it more, so over the course of our process of technical assistance, you can get in touch with the different teams, including our evaluation team, in case you'd like to discuss it in more detail. You can also talk about the expected results. You can identify a few key indicators and the kind of outcomes that you'll be expecting and how it relates to those indicators. And finally, you can talk about the contact details of the key person in the organization. So the main point of contact we should be getting in touch with. So that's as far as the concept note template is concerned. So this is like a critical step in the concept phase. And so once you fill this out, you can share it with our team. Our quality team will review it and we'll get back to you in case we have any questions or if we have any constructive feedback in terms of how you can think about things a little differently. And also in the concept phase, we strongly recommend that you participate in the live echo session. It may or may not be in the same focus area that you're working in. It's good to see what other people are doing in the education space, but sometimes you can also learn a lot from what other people are doing. So it's not necessary that you have to restrict yourself to a particular focus area. I think what's important is to really observe a session of somebody who's been conducting echo sessions for a long time and doing it well. It'll give you a feel of how the sessions are to be run. So obviously, there's a number of education programs that are going on, but our team will be in touch with you and we'll help facilitate the process. So that's the concept phase, and the main step over here is making sure you prepare the concept note, and that's approved. In the implementation phase, so we've talked about some of these things during the concept note, but I'll quickly run through them. So making sure you've identified your hub team. Hopefully that's already happened and the right people are on the call. In case all of the team members are not on the call, we do hold these immersion trainings periodically, so they're most welcome to attend the next training. We also conduct smaller trainings, so it may not be absolutely critical for, say, your IT person to attend the entire immersion training. We hold smaller trainings on specific topics, so we can also have them attend those trainings. So we've talked about developing the curriculum. Having templates is important. So everything in Echo is typically very structured. So the most important thing over here is to have a structured case presentation template. So it does a number of things. It helps to set expectations. It helps to streamline the thoughts, and it is essentially a structure in place which the participants can use to present their case or their problem. So it's important to have that. You will find templates on Box. Otherwise, our team will be happy to support you while you develop a template. You can also have templates for things like the agenda. Having a nice structured agenda is it's good for learner engagement and generating interest. You can also have templates for recommendations and for case follow-ups, and those are typically helpful if you're planning a structured evaluation, because you can document what were the recommendations, and you can also follow up on the case or the problem that was discussed. Preparing a budget. So I would encourage you not to look at this from a monetary perspective. So the reason why I mention this is essentially thinking through everything you need to support the program. So it could be equipment, it could be people, the team members that you need to support the project. So hopefully you already have the existing resources, or people can spend part of their time. But do you need to hire an additional resource to support the program? So that typically is not required from the beginning, but maybe when you scale up your program. Do you have the right equipment in place to for people to join in? And I'm talking mostly about the hub. So in terms of equipment, during the immersion we also have this presentation on IT. But what I'd like to point out is, so if you have a number of hub team members joining in from a room, and maybe it's a multidisciplinary team, you can have a setup where you have a video conferencing camera and a TV, but that's not absolutely necessary. And this is something that we've learned during the pandemic. You can have different hub team members joining in from different locations. So that's the concept of a distributed hub team. So really all you need is a laptop and an internet connection, or if not a laptop, a desktop. That's really what you need for each of the hub team members. So it's fine if they're joining in from different locations. Preparing an evaluation plan. So we talked about that briefly during the concept note. Recruiting spokes is one of the most important steps. You obviously need to identify your learners, people who are interested in learning. Ideally, you should also be taking inputs from them in terms of designing of the program. So things like the curriculum, obviously, what they really want to learn. You can also take inputs from your participants in terms of duration of the sessions, or frequency of the sessions, what time you want to do it, because at the end of the day, it's about what the learners want to learn, right? And they should be available and they should be interested in what you're teaching. Attending virtual trainings. So like I mentioned before, we do conduct additional trainings. There's different hands-on trainings. If there's somebody from your team who couldn't attend, we will have trainings on things like coordinator training and IT training, training on the program management software, etc. As you get closer to the launch of your program, you can also provide content for marketing material. So you can prepare write-ups for your program for use in brochures and flyers on your own website, or if you'd like it to be featured on the Echo India website. And once you're closer to the launch, as you start communicating with your participants about the first session, and more operational things like when the first session is happening, etc., we request that you mark emails to this email address, that's fidelity@echoindia.in. So this helps to keep us in the loop. We know exactly when the sessions are happening, and it helps us to plan our support a little better. So we know, when the sessions are happening, when the launch is happening, and we can basically plan our support better. And finally, in the implementation phase, so we'll give you access to the IECO program management software. We've talked about the 4 principles of the ECHO model. So the fourth one is monitoring of outcomes, right? So the program management software allows that at a basic level. So you can use that to track programmatic information about your ECHO program. So things like the number of programs you've conducted, the number of sessions you've conducted, your attendance, and that's very helpful for showing to different stakeholders, right? So it gives you more information and more data that you can use for presentation. We are also, our technology team is working on improving the feature set, and we have newer versions. So as and when more features become available in the program management software, that will be available to you as well. So as you get ready to start your program, it's important that you enter the details for your upcoming program on this software. Moving on to the pre-launch phase, so the important thing over here is conducting a mock echo session. So during this mock echo session, it's as the name suggests, it's a mock or a practice session. You can use it to connect with your participants. You can talk about echo. You can talk about the program. You can talk about key expectations, and if you've already prepared a his presentation template, you can show it to people. You can talk about group expectations, and you can also use it as an opportunity to troubleshoot. So if there's any technical issues at the hub side or the participant side, so you can use this to resolve it before the actual program starts. The idea is you want everything to go smoothly in the first session, so you can use this as a chance to troubleshoot and make sure that there's no issues, and also to set expectations. So the Echo team will also be there to support during the session. Aditi's team will be there, and the quality team will also be there, and we'll make sure that we give you feedback in terms of if anything can be improved, or if you have any constructive feedback, we'll make sure we share that with you. Using an Echo banner is important. So you can print out and have a physical banner which you display behind the hub team. And that can be done if you have a single expert, but definitely if you have a group of experts, you can do that. But you can, in case it's not possible to do that, you can also do it virtually. So as you can see, a number of Echo team members have a virtual background which has the Echo logo. So the idea behind this is, so if you use it, it essentially connotes authorized use. So it means you're assigned Echo partner, you've attended immersion training, and you've gone through all of these steps, and essentially you're capable of running high quality Echo sessions with fidelity. You don't have to limit it to the just our Echo logo. We strongly urge you to use your own organization's branding, or if there's any stakeholders or funders, you can use that as well. If you need help with customizing the virtual background, we can help you out with that. So once this mock session is over, you can practice entering the session details into the Echo Spark program management software. And the software also has additional features apart from tracking of programmatic information. You can there's a standard pre-presentation which you can show at the start of your sessions. So it talks about the features of Zoom, video conferencing etiquette, and things like that. So it just makes it easier when participants are joining the session. There's also a feature for feedback. We have a standard feedback form that you can use to collect feedback from your participants. If you'd like to make changes to that, we can make additions to that as well. So this is an important tool because, as I said earlier, it's not about how we want to run the program and how successful we think it is. Ultimately, it's about how useful it is for the learners, and this is a great way to collect feedback from the participants, so you can get both qualitative feedback and also in terms of the overall feedback that they want to give. And and you can ideally you should be using that in case there's any possible areas of improvement, or whatever is whatever applies and is relevant, you can consider making changes in your program based on the feedback if need be. Finally, if we talk about the launch phase, so in the launch phase, you conduct a couple of pilot sessions. So these pilot sessions will be hosted by the Echo India team. Your relationship manager will host these sessions for you on Zoom. The idea is we want you to focus on the most critical element, that's the facilitation and moderation and the subject matter expertise, and not worry too much about Zoom and admin features and all of that. So for the first few sessions, we'll help you conduct those, and once you're more comfortable, then we'll hand over most of that support to you. And it's absolutely critical to maintain fidelity to the model, and including interaction and case-based learning, and overall to just having a culture of continuous quality improvement. So seeing what you can do to make sure that the the sessions are of a high quality and they're of benefit to the participants. So feedback is one of the tools you can use, of course. So whether it's feedback from the echo team, your relationship manager, or from the participants. We request that you continue to use Echo Spark. So that also helps us, track the Echo movement overall. So what the Echo team would get out of it is essentially aggregate level information about overall how many hubs are there in education, how many programs are being run, how many teachers have been trained, and so that's one way of tracking the impact of the overall Echo movement. And finally, so once all of this is done, you've conducted the pilot sessions with fidelity, and after a few sessions we'll issue you your own Zoom license and you can start running the sessions independently. So the Echo team will still be there to support you, especially your relationship manager. But we'll hopefully by then you can be a little more independent. But we'll be there if you need any additional support or feedback. So that support will continue even after you've launched. So yeah, that brings me to the end of the checklist and the presentation. Happy to take questions if there's any. You can either put it on chat or you can please feel free to unmute yourself and ask the questions.
So for using the Echo banner, firstly, the soft copy will be available to us. Plus, I hope we'll be able to do multiple branding in the sense that if we are from Bharati Foundation, we would also like to have a banner of Bharati, a logo of Bharati behind us.
Yes, ma'am. So we'll share the logo with you, a high resolution logo. And as I said earlier, we actually encourage that. So whether you're using a physical banner or a virtual banner, you should
use. So the partnership will show.
Right, absolutely. Right. So you can use one organization's logo, or if there's any other stakeholders involved in the project, like a funder or any other stakeholders, you can include their branding.
Right.
And if it's a virtual banner, if you need any support with designing it, we can help you out with that.
Okay, thank you.
If I may just add here with the banners. So not only will we be helping you out with designing of the virtual banners, but also the physical banners if you want to have one. And we will also be sending you the printed physical banner if you want to use for the echoes. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Aditi. Thanks.
Any further questions on the replication aspect of the echo model or something to do with the concept note?
Also, one other thing, I think this is a common question. So you don't need to worry about the next steps after the immersion. Our team will get in touch with you. So we'll share the immersion material, the slide decks, and all, and they'll get in touch with you in terms of scheduling the next call and the next step. So you don't need to worry about getting in touch with us or what you need to do next. We'll be there to guide you throughout.
Right, well said, Dr. Karan. In fact, we are already in touch with most of the participants that we have with us today, and we hope to have a good launch sometime in near future. If there are no further questions, because I think everyone is looking forward to the next mock echo session that is lined up and everyone is excited about it. But if you have any question related to replication or anything to do with the steps that you have to follow for the echo, please feel free to let us know on chat or on the think board that's active for today as well. So yeah, we will be able to get back to you with the answers. So meanwhile, I think yeah, no further questions. We are good to move forward. So I would like to thank Dr. Karan for sharing with us in-depth presentation on replication and the concept note, because that's something which everyone would have to use, and the learnings from here will be really helpful. So thank you so much again. All right, so we now move on to the next session, that is mock echo session. I hope all the volunteers are ready. And with that, I hand it over to Palash for taking forward the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Aditi. Welcome, everyone. And like I mentioned yesterday, this is my favorite part of the training version that we conduct. So we had briefed the volunteers that we had identified yesterday, and I'm quickly going to introduce them. First of all, we identified 5 volunteers. So we have the role of a facilitator, who would be played by Bhama ma'am. Bhama ma'am, if you're there, you can just say hello so that everyone knows. Bhama ma'am, if you're there. We'll come back to her. Okay, and then the coordinator's role is going to be played by Parash Goswami, sir. Parash, sir, if you're there.
Yes. Hello, sir. I'm here.
Thank you, sir. Then we have the subject matter expert with us, who's going to be played by Sumana Sarkar, ma'am. Sumana, ma'am, if you're there, you can.
Yeah. Good morning again.
Thank you, ma'am. Then the IT support role would be played by Mr. Sumit Kumar, sir. Sumit, sir, if you're there, would you like to unmute and say hello? Sumit, sir, can you hear us? I can see he's there in the meeting. Okay, we'll come back to him. And the case presenter for today's mock session is Netra Gogoi. Netra, sir, if you're there, would you like to unmute and say hello?
Hello, good morning, sir. I'm here.
Thank you, sir. Bhama ma'am, can you hear us?
Yes, Parash.
Yeah, great. So, no, we're just checking if all the volunteers have good connections and we're good to go. All right. So what we're going to do in this session is, just in case you weren't there with us in the last session yesterday, so a mock tele-echo session is actually a simulation of an actual session, right? We're going to use dummy resource materials, but we're going to follow the anatomy of an ideal echo session. We had discussed with the volunteers yesterday in a separate briefing call, and there were certain preparations made. So as I understand, that the volunteers decided to create their own resource material. So thank you so much for making that effort. And also thank you so much for volunteering to do this. And I know it would have taken a little bit of effort from your side. So thank you so much. Other than that, what we're going to do is, as soon as I say time in, we're going to pass it on to the volunteers. So everybody comes into their characters. The volunteers play the role of the hub team members, and everyone else over here would be acting as spokes, right? So Echo India team members will take a step back. We are not going to interfere as such during the mock, but we will have an in-depth discussion once the mock has been completed. And just for everyone over here, hub volunteers and also the spoke participants, that this is a safe learning environment. And even if you make mistakes, that is quite all right. And we're going to learn from those mistakes. And this is just to give you that level of exposure as to when you actually conduct your own echo programs, what are some of the challenges that might come your way. It would maybe help you plan your programs better in the near future, things like that, right? So focus should be on the anatomy of the session. What are the different phases of the session? How are the 4 principles of the echo model being implemented? And what are the different roles that the hub team members are playing, right? So, and I'll also request everyone on this call to please note down your observations. We'll have the discussion right after the mock, and I'd like to hear from everyone. What are your thoughts? Maybe, observations like things that went well, things that can be improved upon. And this is nothing against the volunteers. We're all new over here to this platform, and we're just here to discuss those things in detail, what went well, what did not, right? And it can help you improve for your own echo programs. So that's the whole plan. And if anyone has any questions before we get started, I'll be happy to answer them for you. Anyone has any questions? All right, great. If there are no more questions, we can get started. Just one more small announcement that I'll request everyone try to make this session as interactive as possible, because the essence of actual echo sessions comes from the interaction between the hub and the spokes, right? And that would be another challenge for the hub team also, to try to make this session as interactive as possible. And how do you handle different situations, etc., right? So that's the whole point. So let's get started. I hope all the volunteers are ready, and I'm just checking. We're going to give all the hub team members co-host access, so that you guys can all control the Zoom session. You can mute, unmute if there are any audio disturbances. You can share your screen whenever you're trying to present. So that's the whole point behind all this. So for this next 30 minutes, to all the volunteers, we are going to give co-host access, and that will happen in a minute or two. But in the meantime, we can get started. So I will be passing it on to Bhama ma'am, who is our facilitator for the mock session. So again, thank you so much for making this effort, and we'll get back to discussion right after this. So for the mock specifically, we've allotted around 25 to 30 minutes. So I'll request all the hub team members, if you can try to wrap up the mock in 25 to 30 minutes, and then we'll have a little bit of time for discussion as well, right? So are we ready? Bhama ma'am, ready?
Yeah, thank you, Palash.
Okay, so floor is yours, ma'am. So over to you, time in.
Okay. Mr. Parash, can you start sharing the first part, the pre-presentation, please?
Good morning, ma'am.
No, just start sharing the...
Start sharing. Okay.
Yeah.
If, host is not permitted me to share, so please share your screen. The
Yes,
Bhama ma'am, you can share, no problem. Bhama ma'am, please share you. Please share you. Okay. Is it visible, ma'am?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. Very good morning to all of you, my esteemed colleague, member, and all the participants of this ecosystem. And in this session, we are discussing about listening skill as a school teacher. Am I audible?
Yes. Can you please go on to the next slide, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And this is basically about this program, ecosystem, guideline, and information, and how we'll do it. And the coordinator is myself, Paras Goswami, and my colleague, this Bhama ma'am, will be the next session will be taken by herself. And this is the main principles, and all of you know very well about this rule and regulation, because all are very excellent member of this team and participant. So I just request you to silent your phone or raise your hand to ask question and everything. And now this is after the session, we'll definitely go for the feedback, and we'll try to address all of your question. And now I request Mama ma'am to go for the as per the session. This is the agenda of our team, the listening skill as a school leader, and the hub team member, Mrs. Sumana, already present, is a subject expert. Ms. Bhama is a facilitator, and IT expert is already here. So please, I request Bhama ma'am to take over the session.
Thank you, Mr. Parash. Hello, everyone. I welcome you all to today's ECO session. As you all know, Project ECO is a lifelong learning and guided practice model that exponentially increases workforce capacity and provides best practices in teaching, learning in the education sector. Thus, ECO is a capacity building platform, and the all teach, all learn model works so well that this model has been replicated in more than 50 countries worldwide. The topic for today's session is listening skills as a school leader, which, though very important, it is many a time an underrated topic. It has been shown that it is very crucial for a good school leader to actually listen to the various viewpoints and opinions put forth by not only his peers and his teachers, but also his juniors. With that, let us start the session. So this is the agenda for today. We have with us a very, we are very lucky to have with us a very knowledgeable hub team. Starting with Ms. Sumana, who's a key member of the Bharati Foundation. She will be our subject matter expert and present the didactic. I request Ms. Sumana to introduce herself in a few lines, please.
Yeah, good morning, Bhama ma'am and all esteemed members of this ECHO session. I'm Somana Sarkar. I'm heading the training of Bharati Foundation, Satya Bharati Schools.
Mr. Netra will be presenting our case today. Mr. Netra, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, good morning, ma'am, and good morning, all the esteemed Guru Hub members of ECO India. So, I'm Netro Gugul from Dai Jorhat, Titavur. I am basically a teacher and teacher educator. So, I'm going to present a case.
Thank you, Mr. Netra. Mr. Parash, all of you have already met. And then Mr.
I just our IT member, ITC coordinator Thappa is not. I think he's on the line. So may I request him to?
Yeah, I'm just coming to him. Yeah.
Okay.
Mr.
Sure.
Sumit,
Okay.
our IT support. A few words to introduce yourself, please.
Good morning, everyone. Myself, Sumit Kumar Thapa. I'm a lecturer of Diet Jorhat from Assam. I'm basically from the physical education background. Thank you, madam. Yes, proceed, madam.
Mr. Sumit. We also have with us Ms. Anuradha Rai, who's the head of India's eco-education sector and who's always so encouraging and supports us completely. I request Ms. Anuradha ma'am to say a few words, please.
Thank you so much, Bhama and your hub team. Congratulations on starting a new ECO. I wish your team the best. You know, may it be one of the best ECOs that has been organized, launched. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. We also have with us many from the ECO team, like Mr. Palash, Neha, Aditi, Tanishka, and so many others. Thank you so much for being here to help us with today's session. The agenda for today is as follows. The first few minutes, I think, next we go on to the didactic, which is around for 15 minutes or so. This will be presented by Ms. Sumana, and then we have a case presentation by Mr. Netra, and then we'll take any clarifying questions, and then we'll come up with recommendations by our hub team. Thank you so much. With that, I request Ms. Sumana to present her didactic, please.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. We could go to the next slide. Yeah. All right. So, the topic for today is listening skills as a school leader. Before I go on to the listening skills, I would like to talk about, do we only talk of school leaders as people who are leading schools or leading teams of teachers? Every teacher inside a classroom is also a school leader, and the listening skill is as important for that school leader at that level as it is for the highest person in the school. So, to the part of teaching, because as we teach, we don't teach subjects, we teach children. And when we teach children, unless we can listen to them, unless they can come across to us, we can get inside their minds by understanding where they are coming from. There is no give and take of education that is possible. So that is the kind of importance that a listening skill has. Apart from that, it builds the trust because it communicates the care and concern. Listening solves 80% of problems at times because every individual is actually capable of solving their own issues, but at times they just need to be listened to. So, while speaking at times as individuals, even we do that. When we speak it out to somebody who's listening with empathy, then at times halfway through, we come across solutions. Bhama ma'am, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And opportunities. Yeah, is my time up or you said 15
No.
minutes? Yeah.
It's okay. Let's continue.
So, though the kind of personality we are, so whether we are a listening person, sometimes we are that kind of a person already, and sometimes as a school leader and as a school teacher or in whatever way we are, at times we have to cultivate it. And is it cultivable? Yes, it can be cultivated. If we look at the 7 key active listening skills, be attentive. When we have, once we decide that we want to listen to somebody or somebody has approached us, then let us take out those few minutes, whatever number of minutes, even if it is 5 minutes, let us not be doing something while we listen. So if we are attentive, our body language, at times it is the non-verbal cues we are attentive. So first be attentive so that we come across as people who can be spoken to. The next is asking open-ended questions. I would like to invite some participation if I can. What do you think would be a closed-ended question if you've given some assignment to somebody? You could be a teacher, you could be the principal. If you've given an assignment to somebody, what do you think is a closed-ended question?
Ms. Sumana, I think we will take these questions in the
okay.
Yeah.
So if the closed-ended question is, have you done it? The answer would be a yes or a no. On the other hand, we could have an open-ended question, which could say, so if you have done it, if once it is done, the person is submitting, we say, okay, are you happy about what you've done? So taking open-ended questions takes a lot of courage because we have to be open to both positive and negative emotions that are coming, but that is exactly what the purpose of listening is. The next is ask probing questions. When we say probing questions, we go deeper. Do you think the time that was allotted to you was enough? Now, the moment you ask that, there are 2 situations possible. Either the answer is yes, which you feel happy about, but if the answer is no, then you request clarification. That is the next step, where you ask, okay, you did not find that the time was enough. Is it because you were doing other things? Was there too much on your platter? If you're talking to a teacher where there are other things that you were supposed to submit at this point of time, if you're talking to a student, did other teachers give you assignments? So request clarification to understand the problem better. All this time, you are not showing any judgmental attitude that, you're not happy about the answers that are coming, because you have invited those questions to get into the mind and answer and listen. You're not just hearing, but you're listening. Paraphrasing is very important because most of the times when we are a school leader or a class leader or any kind of leader, we are hierarchically at a higher position. And most of the times, very passively, we feel that once somebody has told us something, we've understood it. But many times we actually don't. So when we paraphrasing is speaking somebody else's thought in either a quote unquote manner or kind of saying the same thing in a slightly different language. So when we paraphrase, we say, okay, so you want to say that, and so on and so forth, whatever, that you were busy, that you had other assignments. So this is paraphrasing. So it is just helping you to frame a statement where the other person will either say, yes, ma'am, that is what I wanted to say, or he'll say, no, I wanted to say this. Then you go back a few steps, maybe ask probing questions again. And when you've done all this all needs to be with that entire verbal and non-verbal cues of being, understanding, approachable, and feelings should be reflected. You're not doing it just one, two, three, four. You're doing it emotionally. You're actually there. You are not sympathizing. You are empathizing. So once you do that, and then you summarize. So, okay, this, your problem that you just told me is this. You could not find time because this, but you still done it. And maybe that's why you're not so happy about it. Okay, let me think about what can be done. Now, if you've done this, the other person will open up to you next time without you going through all the 7 steps, because the other person sees you as somebody who's approachable. Thank you, Bhama ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Samana. That was beautifully presented. And I never realized before that there were so many facets to the, seemingly simple verb listen, so yeah. Any questions, please? Any clarifications on this didactic? I invite all the spokespeople to please approach us with any of your questions or any thoughts in this matter. Okay, if there are, yeah, Mr. Kanan, you have raised a hand.
Yeah,
Can you unmute yourself and speak your thoughts?
Sure. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what innovative activities could we do to teach science to students?
Okay, I will take this question. We can, like each and every topic, every concept in science can be taught, especially at the middle school and the high school level. Each one of them can be taught by a very simple experiment or a couple of experiments, which the children can do by themselves using very simple materials. And this would definitely increase their depth of understanding, and it will stay with them. Like they're not going to forget it easily once they do something which they can see and which they can do with their own hands. And we will take this up in the next session, in which we'll be talking more about this in depth.
Thank you, Bhama ma'am. Thank you, Suvana ma'am. It's a very excellent presentation. Now, may I request? Yes, sure.
Oh, yeah. So, any other questions, please? Any other questions from the spokes? Okay. Thank you so much. Now, can I request Mr. Netra, please, to present his case study?
Okay. Good morning, everyone, once again. So I have picked up one case for
Gogoi sir, are you audible?
Yeah, your audio is audible. Yes, please go ahead.
Gogoi sir. Netraji.
Oh, he's not audible, is it?
Yeah, most probably.
Okay. Mr. Parash, would you like to read out this case?
Sure.
Yeah.
I just want again ask Gogoi sir, are you audible? Okay. This is a case study of a girl child. The girl child belongs to a specifically tea garden labor community, and her parents were not interested at all to continue her science education. It's in your secondary school. As a teacher, he personally talk with her parents in several times. But yes, sure.
So
please start. And
yeah, Mr. Netra, are you there?
Or maybe having some network issue in that area.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So I just continue, and when he join again, okay. As a teacher, he talked with her parents several times, but it was their parents are totally reluctant to do it. Once he call a lady doctor of the nearest hospital, government hospital, for a regular, under the regular health checkup came in the school. And in this opportunity, he utilized, and the parents who came with their children, because with their adolescent girl child, give an opportunity to talk with the doctor. And in the very next morning, when he was busy in checking the homework, or in his teacher's common room, the schools, the parents of the girls and two other guardians to come to meet him, and they are very enthusiastic about his son and daughter to admit in the science stream of the secondary section, and wants to and do all the every necessary procedures to maintain. And it was wondered for the teachers how the district census come to his son and daughter's education regarding science education. And he feels it's a one thing he feels that he's not sure, but it was due to lack of awareness regarding science education, of pure psychology of the science education, or maybe due to this lady doctor was came to the school for health checkup, inspired the parents, because the parents and the discussion between parents and the lady doctor may give a very good openings for all the parents. And all these points are reflected in his case study. So now I request Mama Mem to continue the further discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Parash, for putting forth this case study. This obviously shows what a big difference the school, the teacher, the head of the institution can make in completely transforming the life, the future of a girl child. And if all of us do this, it's going to make such a difference to our country, to our the education levels of all our girl children. Now I
just want to add one point, ma'am. I think
Yeah,
this
sure.
is the very true story of the Netro Gogoi sir, because he's belonged to the Diet Titawar Jurhat, and almost a huge group of tea garden in this area, and he may have this is personal experience, and not only because he was working as a teacher for a long time in the school, high school, so he know it is maybe his personal experience. And
Yeah.
and entire thing is very I feel it is very much real in the tea garden area of Assam.
Yes, totally. I agree, Mr. Parash. It's just amazing what a single teacher, the difference he or she can do. Thank you so much. And thank you, Mr. Netra, for presenting this case. Now I request the spokes to come forward if you have any thoughts on this case, or
Yes,
any personal experiences that you can share with us, or with any clarifying questions regarding Ms. Sumana's didactic presentation today.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. Just I'm getting the opportunity of regarding the first thing that regarding didactic.
Yeah, please.
The skills of listening. Yeah, the skills of listening.
Yes,
so
please.
the word listening, and we have just always sometimes most of the people listening the synonyms with hearing. So listening is something different things. Listening is to learn. Listening is for understanding. So listening means listening with comprehension, hearing with comprehension. So as you have already stated that be attentive, ask open-ended question, ask probing questions, all about without comprehending. Without comprehending it, and one person could not go further. Means he may not be attentive, he may not be open-ended, ask any open-ended question or close-ended question. He may not show confidence or any clarifications. So I think so to be a good listener, one should one should explain it in a very easy way. Some dead word should not be used. Dead word means the word that could not give a meaning to the listener is known as dead word. So dead word means it is not like that. This is not a word. So it's a few words. Maybe I may not get the what to say, get a meaning. I may not get the meaning. From the student perspective, they have a few exposures to the world of words. So we as a teacher always remember that we should always keep in our mind that what word carries the meaning to my children. So probably we should keep it in mind when we are using the term listening. That's what I want to add, or this is my point of view regarding the didactic. It was a very excellent explanation regarding listening skills. Thank you, ma'am. And the rest regarding the story. As a colleague and as a field level worker, I always come. This type of cases are always there, and the reason behind it, most of the time, we the teacher never give the opportunities to ourselves to think logically. So most of the time we are always tried in an informative ways. We just impart the knowledge. That is the main reason of the main case is the case presented here. It is because of that maybe the thesis never give the opportunity to his or her children to think logically. Without logical thinking, a student cannot definitely. Science will be a very what to say, very difficult thing, or like mathematics. Mathematics is a abstract thinking. So if we present the mathematics as a abstract thing, without connecting with real world, it will be definitely give them a very what to say, very difficult situation to cope with the subject. Maybe the reason the case maybe arises because of this two things. Thank you. This is what I want to submit.
Thank you so much, Mr. Raju. That was really very nice observation, and the points that you made to the didactic as well as to the case. Thank you so much. Mr. Netra, would you like to say something? Yeah, please. Yeah.
Sorry, ma'am. 2 or 3 phone call entered to my cell immediately and disconnected my Zoom connection. When I want to present my case, so it was disturbed and disconnected. Sorry for it, and I think my case is already presented.
Yes, it's presented, and we would like to know if it's a true story. It was a student in your class, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice and very encouraging to see this success story. Thank you, Mr. Netra.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Any other questions or clarifications? Ms. Sumana, would you like to comment on what Mr. Raju said just now?
No, ma'am. I would rather think that whether the other spokes have anything to say.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Okay. So I think we have come. This would be our final recommendations by our hub team. So based on the didactic and case study present today, we see that increase in parental involvement and having conversations with the child separately, offer praise to the child, acknowledging his or her efforts, and when he shows good behavior, and finding out the interest the child and of the child, and to provide opportunities in his or her area of interest will make a great difference to the education possibilities of every child in our country. Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here and participating in this echo session today. And we look forward to your continued support and participation. In the next couple of weeks' time, we will be having our next echo session. And I request all the participants to kindly fill out the feedback forms that I shared in chat and submit them, please. And the feedback from you will really help us to improve our sessions. I also request the sport participants to take a few minutes and put down a description of any of the problems they face in school as a case study so that we can take it up for the next discussion time. Thank you so much. Thank you, one and all. Yeah.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much to all my team member, and especially thanks to the ECO team member for their extensive support, all the participants for their positive vibration created in this session. Thank you. Thank you very much for the support once again. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Great. So that was the mock session. Thank you so much. Before we get into the nitty-gritty details, I think all our participants, hub team members, and also spokes deserve a big round of applause. I think you did a brilliant job. And it was so well organized. It was so well scripted. It was almost as if this is a real echo session going on. And I was really on with a paper and pencil to note down where I can, point out, okay, maybe this didn't go well or that didn't go well. But overall, everything went well. So I really don't have anything on that side, but I think it went really great. And you guys all practiced it so well. Thank you so much for making that effort, first of all. I know you had to take a lot of time out in the evening yesterday to do this, and also our education team who supported you for this. So thank you so much to Aditi and team, and also to all the volunteers.
And just I just add one point. My special sincere thanks to my Bhama ma'am, Sumana ma'am, and Netro Goisa for their very sincere effort in the last evening. And special thanks to Bhama ma'am to take all the pain to coordinate everything. Thank you, Bhama ma'am.
Thank you so much. And Bhama ma'am seemed a little nervous yesterday, but that didn't show off at all today. Bhama ma'am, that was brilliantly handled today. Thank you so much. And I'll also invite Anuradha ma'am to share her comments, the mock session.
Yeah, no, congratulations. I think it was a great session. First, let's hear from all the spokes. Right. So what did you find, how did it go? And before that, the team, the hub team, did you find any challenges? How was it, the experience?
Hub team, is it? You're asking us?
Yes. So all our volunteers initially.
Yeah, what was the experience like? And did you find any challenges? And then we can take it from spokes. Yeah.
No, I think this also, like just how you conduct your eco sessions, you do it so in such a nice manner. I mean, so smooth. So Tanishka had mailed me the sample PPT, and so I just made a few modifications to it. And I mailed the same, and the didactic Sumana, she explained so well. I mean, it was almost as if she had prepared that herself, so that was really good. And Mr. Parash was there to pitch in all the time, and he took, he presented it. So there was absolutely, it was, it's like one of your, I think the credit goes to ECO that everything is, you streamlined it so well. So thanks Aditi, thanks Tanishka, and thanks Palash for all your, commitment and hard work. I think it has come up to this point. Yeah, smooth sailing. Thank you.
And ma'am, I just want to add one point. If you have such a good team with any coordinator, then definitely program will be successful. Like Bhama ma'am or Shumana ma'am or Netro Goisa and this Thapa. Or if you have such a good team, then obviously coordinator doesn't have to do anything, any tension, nothing else.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that.
Oh yeah, sorry that Mr. Netra, I'm sorry that you couldn't present your case, and you had a network issue.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Very nice. I mean, it was really very heartwarming to read your case. Thank you.
Yeah. But ma'am, I'm sorry to say that I could not present myself the case because network disturbed me, and one phone call immediately entered my cell, and I could not present it. So it was my challenge as per madam. Okay.
Thank you, Bhama ma'am, Parash sir, Netra sir, for sharing your thoughts. I'd like to open it up for discussion with everyone else as well. So anyone else has any thoughts, questions, observations, things that you thought went well, things that you thought could be improved, anything anyone wants to share, please. This is open for discussion. Please feel free to unmute yourself. Yes, Gopinder sir, please go ahead.
I think it just looks like a normal echo. That echo session is going on, and we are just a participant over there, and the thought of all the people over there, and very beautifully presented. Only one thing is that, like, somewhere in IT part, some backup we can work on that. Like, if somebody not able to present that particular thing, somebody else who's there, and he has taken very beautifully that, presented the case immediately and taken that. That is also a good observation, and immediately taking that proactive step, that helps. I think went well. Everything went well.
Yes, thank you, Bhupinder sir. Yes, and I totally agree with you. It really felt like an actual echo session, and that was a real life challenge that you can face at any in any echo session, right? The internet is not working. Suddenly, the presenter cannot speak. Now, what do you do? Right. And I was really curious to know how the hub team would handle that, but I think you handled it pretty well. Bhava ma'am, was that planned? Or was it out of instinct? That
No, it was not
the
planned.
phone call, somebody called Mr. Netra.
It was not planned. Frankly speaking, it was not planned.
But either way, I mean, brilliantly handled. So thank you so much for that. Anyone else who'd like to share their thoughts?
Yeah.
Yes, Lalita.
Morning, everyone. This is again an appreciation. There's no comment, there's no remark. There's only appreciation. Appreciation to ECHO, because they have had such a good session and training and so thorough in their process that everybody knows exactly what they are supposed to do. By yesterday's session, they have learned a lot. And secondly, all the mock team members, they have been so professional, so good, so painstaking. More than anything, what I appreciate is the coordination and the camaraderie between all of them, which they have built up just over a very, very short time, a few minutes. This says a lot about the quality of all the members of the mock session. I appreciate all the members of ECHO for giving them the confidence and the support and the wherewithal to go through this process, and to the team for carrying through this mock session so wonderfully, so that to us it is not a mock session, it's just an ECHO session. Congratulations to all, one and all in ECHO and the participants, the hub team. Very good, well done. It was a wonderful session.
Thank you so much, Lalita ma'am, for sharing your thoughts. Thank you so much. Anyone else who'd like to share observations, questions, comments?
Yeah, I have one. As part of the hub team, I'm just trying to understand whether one thing was done right. I think one of the ECHO team members, she asked a question on science, right? And I think that is where we went wrong in Bhama ma'am answering it, because it was not pertaining to the ECHO topic of the day. So I think that is where...
Yeah, and till that moment, I was wondering who Kanan is, because that person wasn't there on day one, and I suddenly saw Kanan is asking a question, and I'm like, who's Kanan? And then I realized, oh, this is one of our team members. So, yeah, I mean...
I also would like to know whether the person who's the subject expert is only supposed to present, or if that person is expecting people to join in the conversation. Is that according to the ECHO model, or not according to the ECHO model, where we have a fixed space for question and answer and discussion? That is that is an academic query I have.
That is the right way, ma'am, and I'll pass it to Anuradha ma'am to elaborate on that.
Sure. So I think both the questions are very relevant. So I'll answer your second question first. So when a question is asked, so when you invited, the comments or questions, it's absolutely fine, and to make your session interactive. So we have, it's kind of dependent on you. So some people like to finish their session completely, and after that ask invited questions, okay? And because they feel that the flow kind of breaks or whatever. And some would like to kind of stop in between, to kind of just get the audience interest, and both are fine. So I think at that point you were just asking for a query, and that was fine. We don't
Okay,
have to
yeah,
wait.
I'm sorry about that. I thought the
No,
eco
that's
model said you have to finish your diet. So sorry. Yeah.
no.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have. Yeah.
No, it's not about sorry. Both
Yeah.
are so it all just kind of depends as a hub team what you know. So you also kind of there's no hard and fast rule to it. Okay, but
Okay.
it all depends. So tomorrow when Mama you are doing a session, and if somebody is asking you in between, you might find that okay your flow is this thing. So you might say that okay yeah that's a great question and I'll come to it. Let me just finish this, and maybe at the end of the session you won't need. But typically what we do is just as it is with children. Sometimes when they ask a question and you say that wait I will finish this and I'll come back, then you want the answer now as it you get. So that is our skill, as a teacher, as a master trainer, how to kind of use that opportunity as a teaching moment. You might say that well that's a great this thing, and in short I can tell you this and we will come to this again, and but then you nicely covered up for the science question then so I think either way it is okay. But typically if we were to define so right now don't think that oh it's a thing constructive for you or whatever. It is just like we are discussing what is a comfortable and good way for all. So typically when the expert is speaking and we give them time, so unless they are not able to finish in that time, so we kind of try to send them a chat or something, but otherwise we don't really intrude unless they've just gone completely, whatever thing, and we just say that okay, being conscious of time, but otherwise we let them. So if that is their style, that they want to have it interactive, it's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
And you can after that also ask for questions and comments if you've tailored it into your thing. So that was the second part of the question. The first part about somebody asking, I don't think you went wrong. I think you addressed it beautifully. Because it's all right, if somebody is asking you a question which didn't relate to your didactic, and but you still, feel that you would like to address it, it's absolutely fine. And you may not have a ready-made answer or prepared answer, but all of us, as with whatever experience we have, I'm sure we will be able to give some kind of a logical answer to it. So what you can do is when somebody asks such a question, you can invite your hub team to say that okay that's a great question, and would anybody like, but I think because Bhama herself is very kind of passionate about science.
Yes.
And yes, so she felt that oh I would like to, and that's fine too. Okay. And after that you could say that okay, and then I think you also addressed it in that way by saying that next time we will be talking about this a little more, so you kind of made that connection. And you could also invite, so there's no right or wrong. Okay, it is just that it's like it's a skill that we are acquiring.
Yeah.
So it will take so a little bit what works for you. It all depends upon our own, the way we are, our personality. So some people will be very kind of a thing, getting into everything. Some will want to take it a little slow, and that's fine. Okay, so just feel comfortable. I think you guys did a great job. I didn't want to say it earlier because I thought, then it's like influencing or whatever. But I think I was quite actually impressed with the way all of you work together as a team. For me, that was one thing, all of you were like, it was not that typically, normally it happens that, okay, my role is this, when it comes, I'll do, let this one handle or whatever. You were all kind of, in it, that this is our program and it has to go well and we have to ensure, and, jumping in for each other. That was good. Okay. And and I could see that joy, that ownership, that feeling that okay, this has to go well, we have to ensure, and I also for a minute thought that it was planned, that so you did it deliberately, that if somebody can't present, then somebody just jumps in, because it was so natural, not, you didn't bat an eyelid that that one is not, people, like if in my session somebody's not there or not presenting, I'll get a, skip a heartbeat. You didn't seem to get affected at all, and you said, okay, Mr. Parash just said, oh, okay, I'll.
Yeah, he
And
was ready to pitch in. So.
Yes, and then when Mr. Netra came, okay, so you carry on, and okay, you can't, okay, we will carry on. So it was like very nicely. So this is what we call thinking on your feet. And especially as a hub team and as a facilitator, that is what is required, because whatever you may do, there will be times when, situation is something unexpected. So please remember, it's not that, we are on a show or something and everything. Of course, that is the whole idea, that the session has to be a seamless session where everything goes well, so that the learners go back with a, good feeling. Okay, so that is the primary thing. But if there is a little glitch, it's how you handle. That's a teaching moment for us. Okay, so please do not worry about that. I think all of you, I have to really compliment the entire team. And Sumana, I was very impressed, and it seemed like a regular kind of a thing. And I think the case also. So the case also, I like the way you guys presented a success plan, so that people could see that, what it would be. Maybe as a, one thing you could have done is asking clarifying question. But of course, in a success story, there may not be a clarifying question, but still just invite that, does anybody have anything that they would like to ask? Okay. And asking for recommendations from everyone. Before anybody has any suggestions. And so in this case, because it's a success story, it's kind of, what more? But still, because it's kind of, we follow it up, and maybe somebody will have a suggestion. So, like, for example, I'm just giving you an example, that suppose you had asked for a suggestion and somebody would say that, oh, wow, that this is a great work. And maybe going forward, it would be a great idea to have this kind of guest speaker program, where people from the science, whatever, the doctors or some other specialists come and speak to the children earlier classes, so that they understand. So this gave us a great, so something like that, that suggestion could have, also maybe somebody would have come up. So it's just a kind of a thing, but I think you did a fantastic job. So all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Radha ma'am. Yes, Parash sir, you were saying something?
No, I'm just saying thank you. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, Sumana ma'am. Those are very important 2 questions. Thank you for raising them. And yes, my major takeaway from this also was how calm the hub team was under pressure. I mean, in that situation when the internet went out, and I mean, you handled it really well. It was really impressive. Thank you so much. Anyone else has any other thoughts, questions, comments? We have a few more minutes left. If anyone has anything to share, please feel free to do so.
So all the teams that are planning to roll out their hubs, now do you feel more confident that with this, that it's nothing, it's just kind of, sharing, and it's a safe space? Do you feel that now, that more equipped?
Yes, Anuradha ma'am, I think it gives a good flow. One understands how exactly it is, because till now it was all in theory, so you could just visualize it, but now you've actually experienced it, so it's a different thing altogether. Yeah, it does help hugely.
Thank you, Sumana ma'am.
Parash, can I add something?
Yes, of course, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Oh, thank you so much. To all the ECHO team and all others who are present here, I did not attend the initial immersion session. So this was very, very revealing to me. And initially I was thinking 2 whole days all the time, from morning to evening. That's a lot of time. How will I spare that much time? But then I was riveted by this program and I have learned a lot. And in that way, I should thank all the ECHO team, all the members who have variously presented. Then to Anuradha ma'am, especially, when you have been commenting and giving your input and suggestions and your feedback, etc., I have noticed that ECHO is so flexible. ECHO wants each person to bring out the best, every person to be himself or herself. There is no rigidity. There is no only this way you have to do. There are no rules, which are restrictive to the individual, but the rules are there to keep them in the flow, to keep them in the focus, to keep them within the vision. And it gives the confidence to each member, whether he's a spoke or the hub or whatever, to feel so much at home and to feel that they are contributing something, that they are on a journey together. There is a journey with a vision, and that we are doing something to make a difference. This kind of spirit is being instilled in everyone, including me. I am such a senior person, and still I feel I'm learning so much, and that even I'm feeling I can contribute also. That kind of confidence is being put into me. Thanks to each and every one of you who are building that confidence in me and that hope and enthusiasm. Thanks to everyone.
Thank you. You are an inspiration. I love, the way you kind of give your inputs in the program. So in fact, we are learning, all of us are learning together. It's all about,
together. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the journey.
Yeah.
You have that, no? You say, I teach, I learn. So that learning is as much a part of contributing by way of teaching. So that's the spirit. And that's what makes ECHO so purposeful, so meaningful, and so successful also. Thank you.
Couldn't agree with you, and so beautifully put. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lalita ma'am, for your very encouraging words. They mean a lot to us. Thank you so much. So I think we do have few more minutes left, if I'm not wrong, Aditi. We have few more minutes.
Yes, I think they deserve a break. Palash, they've been so good. I think they can do with a nice cup of tea or coffee.
That's exactly what I was going to say, ma'am. So initially we had planned a 5-minute break, but I think we'll extend it to a 10-minute break. Everybody deserves that. And brilliantly done. Once again, thank you to all the volunteers for taking out the time, making the effort to make this so successful, so well coordinated. Thank you so much, everyone. And I'll pass it back to Aditi.
Thank you, Palash. Thank you for that great session for us to all learn from. Without much ado, we go into a 10-minute break, and after the break, we have interesting session called strategic planning, and we'll come back for that. So yeah, 10 minutes for a break. See you all.
Yeah, I think thanks to the mock session, to their success, which has given us all of us a bonus 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. See you 10 minutes later.
Yes, that was. What I remember when we are
All right, so welcome back after the break, 10-minute break that we had. I hope everyone got a chance to have at least a cup of coffee or tea or a light snack. Uh, we now begin with the next session, that is strategic planning. I would hand it over to Dr. Anmol, who was there with us yesterday as well for the fidelity session. So with that, over to you, Dr. Anmol.
Thank you, Aditi, and good afternoon, everyone. It's good to see you all again. Quickly going to share my screen. I hope you all can see my screen.
Yes, Anmol.
Okay. Right, so a very interesting exercise, I would say. We call it a building block exercise for our echoes. I mean, the idea behind this, this whole exercise is to collectively learn from each other, uh, take ideas from each other, I would say, cross pollination, and coming to consensus on how can we develop our programs aligning to the 4 principles of ECHO model, right? So I'm going to walk you, through this strategic planning sheet. It will give you an idea what are we expecting from you in this exercise. And I would request all of you, all the hub leads and the team leads who have come from different schools and in the different setups, play this exercise again in your setups as well, right? Have a group of members who are going to be part of your hub teams. Use this tool to understand what are their perspectives. What we are going to do in this exercise is we're going to put you into different breakout rooms. So there would be, let's say, 7, 8 odd breakout rooms, which will have different participants. So we're going to divide you into different cohorts. Those cohorts don't need to be homogeneous, but it will be into different cohorts. And you will collectively solve this exercise by giving answers to each other, right? You will be assigned with one Echo India team member who will guide you in this whole exercise. But the idea is to collectively design a project or design a plan which can be implemented in future as well. I hope that makes sense. So talking about the exercise and the sheet that I'm sharing with you right now, you'll be getting access to it during the exercise also. Don't worry about that. After immersion also, we'll be giving you this tool as a reference document. Now moving on to the questions which are there in this strategic planning sheet. Now take it as a planning tool for yourself also, right? When you're designing your echo program, what are the key things that you want to find out before you start echo program? So these are the questions which are laid out for that. Okay. So the first thing is,
sorry to interrupt, Dr. Anmol. Can you please zoom it a bit? It's a little small to be read.
Say that again. Where did you miss me? Miss the word?
Can you please zoom it a bit?
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
I can monitor. I think everything is visible for everyone. My bad. I'm sorry for that. Okay. So when you see the questions, the first thing which call that project, right? So come with the unique name which is catchy and easier to use. Let's not have a name which has 10 words, right? Let's have a name which you can easily turn it into an acronym also, right? The next thing would be, what is the problem or topic, right? So what is what is the reason that you want to start here, right? What is the dire need? What is your focus right now, right? Is it COVID-19 education and COVID-19? Is it maths, English, or leadership echoes, right? Why is this your focus right now? So there must be some statistics, some reasons, some rationales that you want to start this echo. So briefly talk about that as well. What kind of expertise do you need? So to run an echo, the most important role to fulfill is as an expert role, because that's the person who is going to deliver the topics. So if you can identify the set of experts who would need for this program, that will help you in identifying those experts as well in future. So let's say if you need a maths teacher, or you need a statistician, or you need, I'm just, using jargons just to give you an idea, or maybe you need a psychologist if you have a preventive health or a, mental health education echo, right? So identifying these experts or the background of the experts will help you in identifying the final list of the experts as well. Now, the next thing would be, who will be a learning community? I mean, ideally, you should make cohorts, who are similar in terms of knowledge and expertise and understanding, who speak similar language. Let's not have teachers from South India connecting from teachers with North India if they don't speak common language, right? So if English is a common language, you can have different set of sports. But if you're primarily going to run an echo in Hindi, maybe you need to take learning community only who speaks Hindi. So you need to identify spokes based on your requirement as well, right? Or the requirement of the topic. Now, where are your spokes located? So it's important for ECHO to also know what is the reach of the program. Is it state specific? Is it pan-India program, right? So if you can think of that, share information, and you can identify that as you move forward with your program planning as well. So what does your learning community would be able to do after your ECHO program, right? So you need to talk about outputs, right? And then who are the final beneficiaries? So are these students or there anybody else? I mean, in education, primarily it will be students. In some cases, it would be teachers also, right? So it's a cascading thing. The next question would be, how will you measure success? I'm not only saying that we need to code evaluate in it, but we need to identify what are the criteria going to keep to say my program went successful. Is it attendance? Is it cases? Is it level of satisfaction or change in knowledge? So I leave that to you. What do you want to decide for your program success? The program success can extend. It can become, impact assessment also. But initially, I would say we take baby steps. Don't think of very large analytical tools. Let's start with basic tools to, assess our program. Now, the next thing comes is how your ECHO will be funded. I'm sure a lot of you are already pre-funded by your organization. Some would be seeking fund. So if you have something in your mind, you can jot it down here. When do you hope to launch your ECHO? Now, it's super important for us to understand what is the tentative date. Now, I'm sure the date might change according to your activity also, or change in plan also. There are any other reasons that program might get delayed. But it's important for ECHO India team to know, okay, so you're going to launch in September. I have to prepare myself and ECHO India's supporting teams to support you during that launch as well. Okay, so kind of training, kind of immersion contracts, so many things that you have to attend. Maybe special virtual trainings you need to do. Let's say from the hub teams, 3 odd people joined, but there are 3 other people who have missed immersion today. So maybe they need to be part of immersion training, or they need to attend virtual trainings which are specialized for certain topics. What are the challenges do you expect? So, this is a preemptive exercise, right? You want to find out what are the key hiccups you would see and how can you course correct at the very beginning, right? Just planning, ahead with time. So that's briefly the whole, strategic planning sheet. I will not waste time further on this. You will get further understanding about each questions when you are assigned in your breakout rooms. We'll roughly had around 45 minutes or where you will be having a discussion with your relative teams. Try to engage, try to ask questions from each other and come to consensus that what do you want to start at the end of that exercise, right? So I would request the tech team, can you please start assigning the breakout rooms? I will see you guys after 45-50 minutes, if that's the case. You'll be getting an option to join the breakout room at the lower right of your screen. Just click on that and you'll be assigned with the breakout room.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Can you please let me know if you can hear me loud and clear? All right, let's just wait